Powerful villains don't only exist within the worlds of Marvel and DC. Image Comics also has a lot to offer. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we'll be counting down the top 10 most powerful Image Comics villains. You don't want to miss it. Number 10, the Vicious Circle. They might not be as great of a threat in terms of the area that they cover, but the Vicious Circle still stands as the main antagonist for the long-running Savage Dragon series, first standing as opponents to the Dragon, Kurr Dragon, and later to the Dragon, Malcolm Dragon, Kurr's son. While Chicago has been known for its criminal gangs and mob bosses since back in the Prohibition days, the Vicious Circle would become the leading crime group in the area. That's how powerful they were. The Vicious Circle was originally led by Antonio Seghetti, known as the First Overlord, who began recruiting mutated freaks into his ranks after they started popping up in Chicago in the 90s. Over the years, the leadership of the Vicious Circle and its members have changed, but their reign over Chicago as the major crime syndicate has stayed. Number 9, Anissa. Anissa is one of the worst in Invincible, although she, like so many villains out there in the series, ends up getting somewhat of a redemption. Anissa is not only a powerful villain because she is a Viltrumite, the same race which Mark is half a part of, and which his dad Nolan is fully a part of, but because of what she uses her powers for. Anissa first arrives on Earth attempting to reason with Invincible in regards to the Viltrumites conquering Earth. When Mark refuses to accept this, she fights him and warns him that others are coming. Basically, the conquering of Earth in Anissa's mind can be done the easy way or it can be done the hard way. Either way, to her it was happening at that point. Later on, when it's agreed that the Viltrumites will take up residence on Earth and live in secret among their people, breeding to create more hybrid children, Anissa forces herself on Mark when he refuses her romantic advances. Basically, Anissa is the worst of the worst. And friends, if you're not already following us over on Facebook, be sure to head on over, give us a follow, give us a like, it really does help us out here at the channel. Number 8, Maelegolgia. Maelegolgia is the demon who most people think of when they think of Spawn. He made the deal with Maelegolgia so that he might see his wife one last time, but arrived on Earth years after his death. Maelegolgia might only be one of the higher demons of hell, but for a time he also stood in for Satan as its ruler, which at the time made him pretty powerful and would also mean he is one of Satan's more highly favored commanders. Urizen could even be more powerful than Maelegolgia for all we know. When we think of Spawn, our usual go-to nemesis for the anti-hero is Maelegolgia, but when it comes to a villain even that iconic or great, there is someone else puppeteering even beyond what Maelegolgia is capable of. Number 7, Omni-Man. Omni-Man is a complex character in the Invincible universe. He is both a hero and a villain, and sometimes is like more of an anti-hero. He's done it all, really. He is the father to Mark Grayson, the protagonist of the story, known as the hero Invincible. While there are times he has fought against Mark, he's also fought beside Mark as well. In season 1 of the animated series, based on the Invincible comic book series, Omni-Man takes on and defeats single-handedly the Guardians of the Globe. Although he initially told his son that he and his race of superpowered beings, the Viltrumites, were heroes who traveled the universe finding worlds to protect, it is later revealed that this was actually a lie. Instead, the Viltrumites are people who travel the universe looking for worlds to conquer, which was also Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson's, objective here on Earth. The people of Earth can either surrender and live under Viltrumite rule, or resist and basically be destroyed. Later on in the comic series, however, Omni-Man would go on to become the new Emperor of Viltrum and use his power and influence to protect the people of Earth against other Viltrumites, who would seek, of course, to harm it. Number 6, Emperor Kurr. Emperor Kurr is actually none other than Savage Dragon, but is actually him in the past. He isn't Malcolm Dragon, but instead is Kurr Dragon, known originally as the Dragon, who first appeared in the first issue of the 1992 Savage Dragon miniseries, so the original Savage Dragon. When it comes to Kurr's origins, for years it was pretty much unknown. We simply knew him as the Dragon, with his powers and appearance being widely unexplained. He was found in a burning field in Chicago without his memories, suffering from amnesia. However, finally years later in 2005, we learned who this dragon really was. Despite being a hero in the narrative, it turned out that originally when Kurr Dragon came to Earth, he was a great villain, known as Emperor Kurr. He and a group of aliens from his race were traveling in space seeking a new home. Kurr liked the idea of Earth and, despite his people's more peaceful ways usually, decided to raise the planet and conquer it, planning to kill all humans on it. 2 scientists intervened in this plot, wiping Kurr's memories and swapping them out for 5 days worth of TV broadcasts from Earth. Emperor Kurr would later regain his original memory and once more threaten all the humans of Earth. I love that. I love that, like, you can be the major hero of a series and then it's just like, whoop, actually, maybe you were a villain the whole time, but you didn't know because you had amnesia. Number 5. Thragg. Thragg is one of the most powerful villains from the Invincible series. Like Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson, aka the father of Mark Grayson, also known as Invincible, Thragg is a Viltrumite. And we still don't really know, I don't think if it's Thragg or Thragg? I'm not sure if it's like ah or ah, but we're still waiting for this character to appear in the animated series, which will hopefully tell us which way we should be saying it. So waiting for that season 2. Come on season 2, let's go. For now though, I'm going with Thragg. I'm gonna go with the ah instead of the ah. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you hear a difference when I'm saying it? Thragg or Thragg? Do you hear it? It's totally different. But I'm gonna go with Thragg. Thragg is known for being the most powerful Viltrumite around. He was once the Grand Regent of Viltrum, entrusted with finding a successor after the Emperor's death. Really though, Thragg wanted to rule. When it was revealed that Omni-Man was the son of the previous Emperor and his successor, Thragg fought him, but Omni-Man with some help managed to defeat Thragg. Still, this didn't stop the vengeful Viltrumite, who spent his time amassing an army of half Viltrumite offspring, hoping to use them in reclaiming what he believed to be his rightful place as ruler of Viltrum. Number 4. Urizen. Urizen could be even more powerful than Maelegolgia for all we know. Urizen also hails from Image Comics' Spawn and even defeated the hero after his escape. Urizen is believed to be older than Satan and Time, one of the oldest demons to have ever existed. He's believed to be so destructive because even Heaven and Hell actually came together in order to ensure Urizen's imprisonment, and Heaven and Hell rarely cooperate in the Spawn universe, considering they both hate the other and basically want them gone. It's also theorized that the only way to defeat Urizen is to imprison them, as they are possibly unkillable. Spawn was only able to defeat Urizen after being killed by them and resurrected with the Green World, which gave Spawn enough power to once more imprison Urizen. Number 3. Gorrl the Living Galaxy. Gorrl the Living Galaxy is a villain who hails from Image Comics. He is a villain to Supreme, who is an Image character who has also been published by Maximum Press, Awesome Entertainment, and Arcade Comics along the way. So Image, but also sometimes not Image depending on when you were reading it. Supreme made his first appearance in Image Comics Youngblood in issue number 1 in 1992. Gorrl the Living Galaxy was a villain of Supreme's who at one point kidnaps his superpowered sister Suprema. Gorrl threatens to destroy the Milky Way if she refuses to join him and become his bride. Suprema agrees and comes with the Living Galaxy, and because time works differently in his home at the edge of a black hole, 30 years would seem to pass for Suprema before Supreme came to her rescue, although that's just because time moves like really quickly there. Despite Supreme's powers, he's basically like Superman, even he decided the best way to resolve the issue would actually be to reason with Gorrl and simply convince the Living Galaxy that Suprema wasn't really a suitable mate for him, which actually worked in the end. But you know someone's tough when you're like, let's not fight, let's just have a conversation about this. I don't know if I can beat a Living Galaxy, although I don't know, I believe in Supreme. If he needed to beat a Living Galaxy, probably could. Number 2. Satan. When we think of Spawn, our usual go-to nemesis for the anti-hero is Maelegolgia. But when it comes to a villain even that iconic or great, there is someone else puppeteering even beyond what Maelegolgia is capable of. That would be Satan. Satan is so powerful, almost none can stand against him, especially when he is in his own dimension of hell. Satan is presented as possessing nigh omnipotence and also is omniscient. He's invulnerable, immortal, and packs a super meaty punch. He also has the power of having all of hell as his kingdom, where he is the ruler, meaning that he often doesn't stand alone and comes with a bunch of other demonic beings who will do his bidding when commanded. Number 1. Omega Spawn. Omega Spawn is a villain even more powerful than Satan, if you can believe that. And I know what you might be thinking, but wait a minute, Amanda, isn't Spawn supposed to be a hero in this world? Yes, he is, but also not so much in this case. This Spawn is an alternate version of Al Simmons who no longer possessed any of his humanity. This made the version of the character pretty bad. At one point, he kills everyone on Earth so he can use their souls to destroy heaven. He is also one of the few characters who is shown to be powerful enough to usurp Satan, being given the reign of hell by Satan himself. Satan was also the one to basically take away his last remnants of humanity so that Omega Spawn might become the weapon they needed to defeat heaven. However, this plan backfired somewhat. Omega Spawn would defeat heaven, but would also destroy Satan as well. Initially, Omega Spawn was believed to be non-canon, being from an alternate reality where his narrative was never even really finished. However, as the multiverse opened up in the Spawn world and alternate versions of Spawn came together, Omega Spawn was revealed to be the big bad of all those multiversal spawns. So he does exist now in the main canon, and also he's super evil. Which Image comic series is your favorite? Which Image villains do you think are the most powerful? Did your picks make our cut? Also, there are loads more Image properties and universes to discuss. I definitely could not fit everyone on a top 10 list. So if you are hankering for a part 2, be sure to let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, you stay nerdy, YouTube.